Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Welcome to our webinar. Today, we're going to talk about college fly-in programs, which are amazing opportunities. So I'm going to get started, and hopefully as people trickle in. So my name is Antonia Estrada, and I'm the program coordinator at Upper Root Academy. I'm joined tonight by Shante Lipscomb, another Upper Root Academy team member, and our guest for tonight, Ms. Nakia Bradford from Washington University in St. Louis, and Mr. Justin Gunn from Tufts University. So I'd like to say a few words about who we are before we get started, for those of you who might not be too familiar with Upper Root Academy. At Upper Root Academy, we want students to feel courageous, confident, and competitive when they apply to college. That's why we are ruthless in our pursuit to alleviate the anxiety and confusion around the college selection application process. And that's why we're here today. So after this evening's presentation or afternoon's presentation, depending on where you're joining us from, we'd love it if you could take a few minutes to fill out a quick survey. Your opinions and feedback are important to us to help us improve future workshops and also to plan future programming. And by filling out a survey, you'll have a chance to win a $25 gift card. So we'll wrap up the webinar with a live Q&A session. So please enter any questions you might have in the Q&A. And Ms. Bradford and Mr. Gunn can answer them at the end of their presentations. So now I'd like to introduce our speakers for tonight, who will share insights and details about their amazing fly-in programs. So please welcome Ms. Nakia Bradford, Senior Assistant Director of Admissions at Washington University in St. Louis, and Mr. Justin Gunn, Admissions Counselor at Tufts University. First, I'll introduce Mr. Gunn, who will give an overview of fly-in programs, and then speak about Tufts' own fly-in program. And then I'll introduce Ms. Bradford, who will present WashU's fly-in program. So Mr. Justin Gunn is an admissions counselor at Tufts University. Prior to his current role at Tufts, he worked as a college access advisor with various community-based organizations in North Carolina, helping to advise high school youth. He has an undergraduate degree from Williams College and is currently pursuing graduate coursework at Tufts University. So welcome. I'm going to stop sharing and there. I'm going to stop sharing now.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Let's see if I can share my screen correctly. But happy to talk to everyone today about fly-in programs and why they're so valuable for students. Yes. So what happens with a fly-in program, just to start? Well, fly-in programs are various overnight visit opportunities where a college will invite various students to come to their campus, usually on the college's dime, in order for students to get a sense of the school's offerings. As I said, normally colleges will pay for or arrange travel for the student to come participate, but sometimes you might have, if a student's very local to the area, they'll have the student just sort of drive over to campus and still get off the same experiences as other students going on the fly-in program. You'll typically stay with current students in the resident hall, eat in dining halls, and attend some classes, in addition to some other more admissions-based programming, like an essay writing workshop, for example. A lot of these programs take place in September and October, but they'll have them all throughout the summer. Colleges will have them as far late as November, depending on when the colleges want to recruit students. Lots of benefits for these programs. You'll get fully funded travel to campus and overnight accommodations, staying with current students, allowing you to learn a bit more about the academic and social experience that goes on in that college. You'll also find different ways that colleges might support diversity and inclusion and other student activities going on campus. And one of the best benefits that I like to promote a lot is that you really get to demonstrate your interest in a college and connect with admissions staff. At the very least, if you're doing nothing on these flying programs, you're telling an admissions counselor, I'm really trying to do research on this school and learn more about whether it's a good fit. That way, when your students are applying, or if you're a student now, when you're applying, admissions staff will know that you put in that effort to sort of learn about the school, learn about the culture, and are really committed to attending that school. It also helps you feel more confident to apply early decision as you've been to the campus, really see what the campus life is like, and you're more than ready to sort of make that leap. There are lots of different ways to find different flying programs. I listed 2 links here that I'll copy in the chat afterwards, just so everyone can check those out. But colleges all the time will update their different flying programs, and they may have it on a different listing than fly-in program, such as the visits page, where under the tours, you might see a program that a college will fly out a student. Or you can reach out to the different admissions counselors at any college you're interested in to see if they'll be able to fund your trip to campus. Even if a college doesn't have an actual formal flying program, you still may be able to have your travel reimbursed by the college by just asking, hey, can I get this $200 flight I paid for reimbursed by the university? And a lot of times they'll be more than happy to give you that money. That way you'll be able to come experience the campus and see what it's like before you apply. So what makes a strong application for these programs? Well, one, you'll want to consider why you want to visit that college. A lot of schools will ask a version of a why, insert the school name question, even on their flying applications. So you'll want to know at least a little bit about the institution before you submit this application. You also want to let your counselor know that you're planning to apply to this flying program. You'll likely need to send in your transcript. And a lot of times these applications happen during the summer where counselors will be on leave enjoying their summer break. So you just want to give them a heads up. That way you're not scrambling to find what your counselor is doing that summer to submit your transcript for you. Some flying programs will allow you to submit your own transcript, but you'll just want to have your counselor be aware just in case they need to submit something on your behalf. You'll also want someone that you trust to review your written responses. This could be a parent, guardian, teacher, counselor, anyone who can put another set of eyes on your essay just to catch any mistakes and make sure you're putting forth a strong application. All that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the Tufts flying program. Our flying program is called Voices of Tufts. This is a 2-day visit program that's really designed to introduce high school seniors to the Tufts community. So that being said, only high school seniors are allowed to apply to our program. You'll meet current students, Tufts staff and faculty, and work with our identity-based resource centers. So these are our Division of Student Diversity and Inclusion Centers, to include our Africana Center, our First Gen Resource Center, our Latinx Center, our Indigenous Center, and other identity-based centers that are staffed with mentors who love talking with students and helping them navigate their 4 years at Tufts. Voices aims to inform and empower students as they navigate the college admissions process and really give them a way to sort of get a head start on their application, maybe start with some essays, get some experiences that can then be translated to their full application to Tufts. Speaking of that full application, all applicants to the Voices program will get a free fee waiver to apply to Tufts for first year admissions. So regardless of whether you're invited to join the Voices program or not, you'll be able to apply to Tufts for free. To speak a bit more about Voices specifically, this year we'll be offering 2 different versions of Voices. One is a virtual Voices and one is in-person Voices of Tufts. In-person Voices is your traditional visit program. We'll arrange travel or pay and reimburse students to come to campus, stay with our various students in the community. It's typically freshmen or sophomores as they live on campus, but you might be staying with our diversity admissions teams, advising fellows who are working in our office, helping us promote the Voices program. You might be staying with other students all across our campus, eating in our dining halls, joining your classmates or their current students in their various clubs and organizations just to see what campus life is like. And in addition, we'll have some in-person admissions programs. I mentioned earlier an essay writing workshop. I mentioned that because that's something we do during our flying program. We might also have various admissions panels where you'll be able to ask any question you might have to the admissions counselor. We'll have student panels run by our diversity admissions team, advising fellows. That way you'll be able to ask those more personal student-centered questions without having an admissions counselor right in the room, sort of watching over any of your questions or things like that. And most importantly, we'll have an open house with all of our DSDI centers where students will be able to visit these centers, see what it's like being on a college campus and having that sort of support in your identity. Virtual Voices, which will happen one day before in-person Voices, we will not fly students out as it's virtual. but we would still have all of the same amazing programming. That used to be a 2-day program. I believe this year we're making it a 1-day program in October 6th, I believe. But let me check just so I'm not lying. But it'll be a 1-day program where students will be able to talk with our diversity admissions team and talk with various other DSDI centers and other bodies on campus. That way they're learning a bit more about the campus environment. We try and mimic as much of the in-person programming as we can for students who aren't able to come to campus. But obviously, as it's a virtual program, there's going to be some slight differences. Just to recap those dates, our virtual voices will be October 5th this year, and our in-person program will be October 6th and 7th. So I know some people might be thinking, wow, Mr. Gunn, that seems like a lot back to back. But we're more than excited to have all of this amazing program for our students. If you have any questions about our flying program or any specific details when it comes to applying or things like that, feel free to reach out to me. My email's right here, justin.gunn@tufts.edu, or you can reach out to our Voices of Tufts inbox at voices@tufts.edu. And then all of our Voices team will be able to answer and respond to any questions you might have. Okay. Thank you all for listening.
Hey, great. Thank you. Let me start my video here. So thank you, Justin. So now I'd like to introduce Ms. Bradford. Nakia Bradford is a St. Louis native and first-generation college graduate. She has dedicated 6 years to higher education admissions. She's worked with a variety of institutions across the country, from public to private and HBCUs to PWIs. Nakia leads WashU's fly-in program, Preview, an incredible program fostering connections with prospective students. She values the bonds created, believing in the program's lasting impact. She has coined a term for preview attendees, preview pals, and she believes once a preview pal, always a preview pal. In her free time, Nakia enjoys gaming, particularly indulging in Fortnite Lego builds, alongside binge-watching series on Netflix. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Ms. Estrada. I am so excited to be here this evening. And Justin, thank you for leading us off with that wonderful presentation. So with that, I'm happy to provide an introduction to WashU in itself, just to kind of frame us, right? Just in case you're unfamiliar with WashU, right? So with that, Nakia Bradford, she, hers pronouns, and I serve over the territory's entire state of Connecticut and New York. So I know we have some individuals in the house. So go ahead if you have any roots there. We want to get some interactions in the chat. So with that, WashU, we are a medium-sized institution, right? So if you're looking for a super, super big school with 30,000 plus folks, Connecticut native, there we go. We're not that, right? And if you're looking for a small school, 5,000 and less, we're not that either. We're right in the middle, right? 12,000 individuals within our undergraduate realm or undergraduate population. And if you were to include our graduate students, that's an additional 4,000 heads, right? So total population, including graduate students, we have 16,000 students here at WashU. So I want to be clear, as there are multiple Washington universities across the nation, right? We are Washington University in St. Louis, right? So located in St. Louis, Missouri. We are a research university, right? And we are a tier 1 research university. So that means we have all the bells and whistles, as I like to say, in terms of professors conducting research. 75% of our student body, undergraduate student body, is conducting research. So it's not required, but many of our students are conducting research, and you're able to collaborate with our graduate students as well. So when you think of WashU, think of research and think of collaboration, as those are overarching themes within our mission. So with that, What we're known for, we are pioneers in medicine. Okay, so if you ever heard of the PET scanner that hospitals use daily, we are the inventors of that, and we're putting the research behind that. If you ever heard of the Bayer company, so if you're taking aspirin produced by Bayer, and you saw the heart symbol on there by the American Heart Association, and we have there's some research that states if you take an aspirin a day, it can help prevent heart attack, right? So you'll hear a lot of folks saying when we're getting up in age, as we'll say, taking aspirins daily to prevent that, right? And that research is due to WashU, right? So if you're thinking about getting in the med field research, and it doesn't just apply to STEM fields, we have humanities work where we're comparing, let's say, political leaders and the philosophies and psychology and why they do what they do, right? So there's research behind that. So don't think it's just STEM here at WashU. Things we're known for in business, if you ever heard of Build-A-Bear workshops, WashU alum, enterprise rental car companies where you can rent a car, WashU alum. So with that, one of the top B schools in the nation, one of the top engineering schools in the nation as well, the McKelvey family. If you ever slid a card across an iPad or utilized the Square Reader, that was developed by Mr. McKelvey himself, billionaire, and also donates a lot of money to our engineering division. So we just got a brand new facility, a brand new makerspace. So if you're interested in drone design, rocketry design, laser cutting, 3D printing, things of that nature, where you're able to get your hands on and it's tangible, think of WashU. And we have one of the best art and architecture programs, Sam Fox School of Art and Design. We're the first school west of the Mississippi River to have our own art museum. Our students are able to benefit from this. We work with some of the top fashion houses in the world, but we also work with designers such as Levi and Wrangler, so the more tangible designers. So with that, let's get into the fly-in program, the meats and potatoes of tonight. I definitely just wanted to toot our own horn a little bit so you can just get to know us a little bit, right? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can delve into WashU preview, right? So again, my name is Nakia. So if you have any questions, I'm going to be sure to drop my email in the chat so you can go ahead and engage with me should you have any inquiries, right? So with that, WashU preview, okay? This is our fly-in program. It's a 3-day on-campus program. We pay for your housing, flights, and meals. The only thing we really tell you to bring money for, or really request to bring money for, is if you want to bring gifts home back to yourself, right? Or maybe your family, your champions at home perhaps want some St. Louis swag items, right? So with that, we just ask you to bring some pocket change, and everything else is on us. So along with that, it's going to happen, WashU Preview occurs over 2 sessions, right? So you can see the dates right there, July 7th through the 9th, and July 28th through the 30th. So we are a summer fly-in program. Pretty much 100 students will be selected for each session. So 200 students will be invited to campus, right? But we understand we want to engage with you all. We understand these dates may not align with your summer schedule, right? So with that, do not fret. We also have virtual programming in the future, right? That will take place during the fall, pretty much when all applications drop, before the deadlines drop, in the fall. So before December, we are going to have a case study where you're able to act as an admissions officer. So sit in my shoes and make admissions decisions. So you're able to admit your students, waitlist your students, or deny them, right? Sadly. And you're able to understand from an admissions officer lens, what are we looking for? How does an institution's mission affect overall admissions decisions, right? So you're able to see all of that background work and how decisions come into play within WashU. And here at WashU, we evaluate holistically. So you get to see, what does that technically mean? And we also evaluate our students within CBE format, or committee-based evaluation, which means we have a partner as we are evaluating your admissions application. So we're reading together. So just understand, multiple eyes are on that record, right? So just understanding that works, how that works. Another opportunity where you're able to engage with us virtually will be, and I should have led with this, our fly-in program. We tend to have themes each year. So last year it was like, and the theme, it wasn't like, our theme was the glow theme. So in the spirit of glow, in the spirit of being yourselves, in the spirit of stepping into the room and owning it, right? This year, our theme is the power of storytelling, right? So we know the government has thrown us a lot of curveballs the past couple of years, right? Between the FAFSA, and the SCOTUS decision, right? So as we're engaging with students, we found that many students feel like I don't have a voice in this, when you do, right? And when you're engaging with us in this preview program, that's what we're getting at in the power of storytelling, right? You don't just have to talk about your race. If you don't want to talk about your race, you don't have to, right? If you don't want to talk about perhaps situations you don't want to get into, you don't have to, right? So we can lean into items where we're comfortable in telling our story, right? And in alignment with financial aid, there's storytelling to that, right? We are a CSS profile school, so where the FAFSA just engage with more of the number storytelling, more data oriented, whereas aligning with tax and data and all that good stuff with the government, CSS also provides the opportunity for you to include additional information for you to advocate for perhaps additional aid, or maybe we can get some institutional monies aside and curtail that for you, right? So with that, how do you state your story on the financial aid side? What areas are you able to advocate for yourself, right? So within these workshops, we're going to tell you that, give you some tips and tricks. So with that, we said it's a 3-day program. Day one is really a day for our students to get in, travel, get to know one another, and meet the AO. So you're able to meet your admission officers and have conversations with them. We're going to have dinner together and lead into housekeeping announcements before we go to bed. Day two is really getting to know us in the city of St. Louis. So this is where we're going to have the programming of the storytelling with admissions and financial aid. And then it's always a night out on the town on day two. So this year, I don't want to say too much, but it's always a night on the town. And it's going to go into our theme of storytelling. So I don't want to say too much. Day three, we're going to tap into resources here at Preview. So we're going to have a farewell breakfast, if you will, provided by our vice provost, excuse me, Dr. Ana Gonzalez, a Filipino queen, and she cherishes each and every student as her own. So she's basically going to introduce herself, what she oversees, and her themes, as she has beautiful visions for our campus, and what offices she oversees. After that, we're going to get into a class simulation. We have courses called Dialogue Across Difference, where you're able to select 4 different sections. You're able to, and I should get into Dialogue Across Difference. What is that? So we understand we have students across the spectrum in the realm of politics, gender, race, and religion, right? Here at WashU, we don't shy away from our differences. Instead, we put it out on the table and we talk about it so we can learn from one another. And if we need to pivot and do something different, we try to create initiatives and tap into our resources so everybody has a voice, and so that everybody is comfortable within our 4 walls here at WashU. So leaning into Dialogue Across Difference, we will have workshops leaning into, again, storytelling, and we're going to get into some poetry where we're going to lean into I am from, and we're going to get into some poetry there. And ending with a campus resource fair. So leaning into our Taylor Family Center, our first generation center, leaning into our CDI, our campus Center for Diversity and Inclusion. So I don't want to just rattle things off, but understand there's going to be a campus resource fair, so you can get to know the individuals who are in these offices and how we're able to support you should you become a bear, right? So I leave you with our QR code in our lower right-hand corner here on this slide. So if you are interested, understand we are looking for high school seniors. So those who are going to graduate in the year of 2025. So you are a junior right now, and you will be a senior by the fall, right? Those who are living in the US, of course, and we're elevating those of underrepresented backgrounds. So like we said, it goes beyond race, right? And background. We're also elevating if you're coming from a rural background, LGBTQIA+, if you are affiliated with a CBO organization, right? So in the power of storytelling, we have a comment section. So if you want to lean it, if you are affiliated with anything I just said beforehand, go ahead and tell us about yourself, as well as lean into that in our essays. So within our application, we're looking for the transcripts, right? And if you don't have access to your transcript, go ahead and supply your course list. You're able to embed that in the application, type that out, or you can just screenshot. If you have a portal or a system, that will suffice. We just need to know what your coursework is looking like up until this point, and what do you plan on taking senior year? Okay, that's what we need right now. And the essay will pretty much get at are you not are you able have provide an example, of you perhaps bridge building. Have you brought diverse audiences together? There's another prompt where perhaps you provided a fresh perspective, a new idea, right? So we want to get to know about that. And of course, perhaps you just want to write about yourself, provide a little bit of background. So there's 3 options. The beauty of the essay is, of the preview essay, is that you're also able to utilize this essay within our admissions application, okay? Because these are the same prompts from our admissions application. So the beauty of this is you're able to polish your essays during our workshops and utilize them as you're applying during the fall, as we hope. So with that, we also offer a fee waiver. We do have an application fee of $75, but if you are just simply applying to our fly-in program, so you don't even have to be in person, right? So you don't have to be an attendee per se, you get a fee waiver, right? And again, future programming, if you are not selected for the in-person programming, you can be selected for future programming, and all of these engagements from preview will be encapsulated in your admissions record should you apply. So we'll be able to see the interactions, okay? So with that, again, I leave you with the QR code. So if you're interested, go ahead and scan that QR code. The application is live, and you have until May 31st. So you pretty much have around a month, right? We just got into May. So again, if you have any questions, I'm going to leave my information in the chat. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. What I'm going to do now, if people have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. We have a list of fly-in programs on our website. I'm just going to show you now where to find them on our website. So if we'll just, I think you should be able to be seeing the website now. If you're not, let me know, please. So basically, this is our website. If you go here to where it says resources, you click on resources, and you'll see that we have diversity fly-in programs. Those are the fly-in programs, and then you can get to the yeah. You'll see here all the programs that are on this list. So we've tried to make it as comprehensive as possible. But there are, if you don't see a school here that you're interested in, As Mr. Gunn pointed out, you can look for it, maybe Google the name of the school and fly-in program, or contact the school directly. So here we have all the fly-in programs that we have by the program name, the due date, the location. So it's in alphabetical order by name of the school. And then you just click on here to take it, and it'll take you to the website. So I do want to point out that most of the due dates are from last year. Most schools have not yet opened their applications, but several have, including WashU and Tufts. So besides, if there's a school here that hasn't opened their application, you can usually go to the website and put your name on an interest list and be notified when the application opens. So as I said, besides WashU and Tufts, the schools that do have their applications open for fly-in programs, and you'll be able to see them on the website here because the due date will have been updated to 2024. But just to give you a quick list now, besides WashU and Tufts, you have Bowdoin, College of the Atlantic, Dartmouth, Haverford, Middlebury, Pomona, Scripps, Swarthmore, the Ross School of Business at the University of Michigan, and Williams. These colleges all have their applications open for fly-in programs. Now, I do want to mention specifically Dartmouth. Dartmouth has two fly-in programs. One is called the Indigenous Fly-in Program for Indigenous students, such as Native Americans and Native Hawaiians, and any students interested in Native American studies or the community. And their other program is for all the other underrepresented students, which is called Dartmouth Bound. And that application is, that deadline is May 15th. So yes, 13 days. So if you're interested in Dartmouth, which is the smallest and most rural of the Ivy League schools, please apply as soon as possible, because that deadline is coming up fast. So I just wanted to mention that again. If please feel free to check out our website. And now I'm going to stop sharing that. And if there are any questions, please, now's your opportunity. We have these two amazing representatives here from WashU and Tufts who can answer any questions you might have about these programs. So I do have a question I wanted to ask. So these programs, what makes a strong applicant for these programs?
Yeah, so of course, strong academics, right? We are looking for students to have basically mirror what we would like to elevate during our admissions process, right? So with that, here at WashU, we have curriculum. Basically, we want to ensure that students have a solid foundation for, right? So we're ensuring students have certain prep, right? So let's say, for instance, you're interested in pre-medicine. Not only are we looking for extracurriculars that align to pre-med, or perhaps you're showing passion and exhibiting towards pre-medicine, but we're also looking for calculus, right? So we're looking at that transcript, right? In terms of the additional pieces, the essay, we're looking for students not only showing not only that they're a good student, but also a good person, right? So we're also looking for those personal qualities because we're trying to envision you in our campus community as well, right? So we're looking for students who like and enjoy collaborating. But perhaps if you're more of an introvert, perhaps you should demonstrate your leadership in different ways. Perhaps you're always the person who's participating in the classroom. Perhaps you're always the person lending your notes because you see another student struggling, right? Those are the people we want, the type of people we want in our community. So aligning with that, and like we said, we have 3 different essays. So all I can say is be your unique self, right? You don't have to put on this facade or do something where somebody else told you to be a certain way. Be you, because that's the only way you can shine, right? You can only be yourself. So with that, lean into, if you want to talk about your Frappuccino at Starbucks, feel free to talk about that. If you want to talk about perhaps a more turbulent moments and you came out on top and triumphant, or perhaps you just need more support, talk about that too, right? So basically what I'm getting at, there's no cookie cutter way for the essays. Basically, be yourself, right? In terms of we're looking at extracurriculars, right? Don't shy away from the data or the numerical pieces or the quantitative side, right? While you're able to describe your activities, right? Get into if you are the first person to play the saxophone in your band department, let us know that, because that it shows leadership, and the first person to do anything is never easy, right? So it paints a different picture. We're going to ask about the amount of hours, the amount of weeks, right? So it can be a guesstimation, but it shows what you're passionate about. It shows what you're contributing your time to. So not only your extracurriculars in terms of like your ROTC, your sports, your research, but we're also looking at community service. What do you like doing for your hobby? So I have students that talk about they like to mountain climb. I have students that enjoy, and they talk about what books they're reading, right? So while students don't think that's an extracurricular activity, that's a hobby. That's showing how you spend your time, and again, how we can envision you in our community, right? So basically what I'm getting at, don't forget those small pieces about yourself. Do not forget to showcase your uniqueness. And if you need assistance during any part of this process, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or any members of my team. We're here to assist you, right? So don't forget there are also resources in your corner as you're doing this. And don't forget to double tap counselors if you plan on to applying to any of these programs, right? Just give folks ample time to prepare so they can put their best foot forward for you. Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
I think Nakia kind of hit on all of the big points there. Similar for us here at Tufts, we love to see strong academic students who are really pursuing rigorous coursework. And what that means is always different to each student. For a lot of students, my school offers 30 APs, and I've taken 15 of them. For some students, my school has offered 0 APs, but has 15 honors, and I've taken all of those. We just want to see you pushing yourself in whatever high school context you find yourself in. And that is reflected in our Voices application. We'll ask for your transcript. We'll want to see those grades. We'll want to see that you're trying to take classes in subjects that you say you're interested in. So if you say you're interested in pre-med, we want to see, have you taken advanced biology or chemistry and done well in those courses? Have you taken a potential SAT or ACT and you have a strong math section or science or math section on the ACT? Even though we're test optional, if you choose to send in those scores, we love to see when students are really pushing their best foot forward academically. But also for our flying program specifically, we want to see students who are interested in learning about the community of Tufts, specifically the different diverse aspects of our community. Are you interested in our DSDI centers? Do any of them catch your eye when you're scrolling on our website? And you're like, wow, I really want to learn more how I can get involved in this center during my time at Tufts. I really want to learn how I can get involved in different clubs and organizations at Tufts. I really want to see if I'm able to see myself there for the next 4 years. We ask a couple of different essays. One is about academics and what would you like to study at Tufts, to see if you're sort of liberal artsy, if you're writing in this essay, like, I only want to take comp sci courses, then maybe Tufts isn't the best fit for you. But if you're thinking, oh, I'm interested in comp sci and animation and how Disney like evolved animation via computers, well, that's super Tuftsy. You're really combining various different interests and trying to show that you want to combine those interests in a liberal arts philosophy. So just having done research on the school and seeing what does the school value in their students, and then trying to reflect that a little bit in your essays without, as Nakia is saying, not being yourself. Because what we want to see as admissions counselors, first and foremost, is you being yourself and you trying to show how your authentic self might arrive on campus rather than making up this sense of self for the application.
Well, this seemed like applying to the flying programs also seem like great practice for when the real college application comes along. So asking for the transcript, writing those essays, researching the schools, that seems as I said, a great practice run. And for these free programs. Now, as a parent, there might be some parents in the audience just wondering logistically, the travel's paid for, the meals are paid for, the student's going to be with a student host. How do you pick up from the airport? How does that kind of logistically work? Just in case someone's wondering, my child's going to be on a flight by themselves, and they have to get from the airport to the school, or just wondering how that works. Or
So for Tufts, we pick students up at the Boston Logan Airport.
Okay.
For any student that's traveling further than, say, New York City, we'll pick you up at the airport. We'll arrange for that travel. We'll charter some buses usually to come pick up as many students at once as possible. And our counselors will constantly have a spreadsheet keeping track of every single student when their flight lands. We always have at least one, usually two people in the background, sort of updating those flight times if they're delayed, if they're canceled, and always someone on emergency rebooking, always making sure students are able to get from their home airport, their home destination, to Tufts as safely as possible. So we'll constantly have a team looking over that, making sure that travel's going well. For students who are, let's say, New York to a little outside of Boston, Massachusetts, it depends on how many students are coming for the program. We might just charter a bus and have them all meet up at Union Station in New York City, and then take that bus into Medford Tufts. They might come from slightly further out and just take the bus into Tufts, or the various commuter rail public transportation options, which we will then reimburse the student for rather than booking those train tickets ourselves. And for any student who is local to the Boston, Medford, Somerville area where we're located, we'll ask that parents just drop them off on campus, and then they'll be able to take part in our programming. And at the end, the parent will come pick up the student from campus. So it really depends on the distance, but for most students, they'll be flying into Boston Logan, and we'll be picking them up with charter buses.
Yeah, it's pretty similar here at Wash U. Many of our students, upon registration, right? So if you are selected for preview to be in person, right? Upon registration, you will have instructions to book with our travel agency, which is Travelplex, right? And they will be able to coordinate your itinerary, your travel logistics, right? So depending on where you're coming from, you're able to select driving, you're able to select flying. If you're driving, we're able to reimburse you for mileage, right? If you're flying, you're simply picking up the phone, calling Travelplex, stating, "Hey, I'm with WashU Preview." Ultimately, they have a VIP list we already submitted to them, so you're clear to say, "I'm booking from XYZ Airport," and ultimately, you're getting to St. Louis International Airport, right? So this is a lot of logistics, right? For any fly-in program, right? We understand this might be the first time you may be on a plane. This might be your first time you may be going to these new cities, right? This is all new stuff. So with this, I don't want to make it seem like this will be your first and only time hearing this information. We're also going to have 2 orientations before our fly-in program, so your parents can chime in. You can ask all your questions. You can bring a notepad, whatever you got to do, right? But going back to coordinating the logistics, so that's all the preemptive stuff. So you booked your travel, right? We're going to tell you what to pack. We're going to get you together, right? So upon arrival to St. Louis, you're going to be greeted by our team. Okay, so at the airport, we're going to have tables decked out, so you don't have to be seeking out like, where's Wash U, right? We're going to have the tables, Wash U banners. It's going to be apparent. Okay. So with that, you're also going to have emergency contact information prior to your arrival, all that, right? That we're going to give you all that stuff. So with that, we're going to hang out. We're going to be chilling with one another. We're going to have snacks and all of that, because ultimately we're having shuttles that are circulating from International Airport to campus. Admission officers will be on the shuttles. So no matter where you're at on campus, excuse me, on the airport's campus, on the shuttle, you are with an adult, with a colleague, a preview official. Okay. So with that, that's how you're getting to campus. We have shuttles. So upon leaving and getting back to the airport, we have shuttles that will take you back to the airport. Again, admission officers will be on board, and we'll coordinate pickup times for those who drove. So we'll have written agreements. We do not let students out unless we're meeting parents face to face. We ask for IDs, all that good stuff. So we make sure the trade-off is good to go. And as Justin mentioned, should any delay occur, we already have housing on campus. So if you need to lay your head overnight, you don't have to worry about that. Let's say you have a connecting flight. We've had students where they had a delay and they had to stay overnight in the airport. We put them up in a hotel, right? So they didn't have to sit in the airport. So at the end of the day, no matter the circumstance, we're making sure you're covered and you do not have to pay that. We even pay for their meals that night, right? So you don't even have to like, Mom, they got my flight, but can you get my food? No, we take care of you. So within that, right, that's pretty much the logistics, getting to and fro, and if should any delay or anything like that occur.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
Perfect. We actually had a question in the chat. We have a parent who's interested in knowing when the applications would open for next year.
So are we talking about the admissions or fly-in program?
Fly-in program.
So that I must just be transparent. That's up in the air right now. Simply because we're a summer program, there's some conversations around should we do summer and fall because we've shifted from the fall. So with that, with the timeline in the air, I want to say that's a question mark right now. But previously, our applications tend to open in March, mid-March, and it goes through the end of May, typically, we try to allow at least a month in between registration and actual programming.
Okay.
For
Yeah,
Tufts,
yeah.
I was just going to say our programming is also in flux for next year. I can even give you a timeline just because even this year we decided to move our timeline a bit earlier so that way students are able, while they're still in school, to talk with counselors, get those transcripts ready and submitted in on time. Before our application wouldn't open until around June, July for October program date. Now we're doing that here in May all the way until July. So if this goes well, knock on wood, which I'm sure everything will, we'll probably continue with around late April, May application open date. But for next year, I'm just not too sure of what the answer might be.
Yes, I think that must be someone, a younger student, because these programs generally are for students who are juniors now, who will be seniors, who are rising seniors, who will be seniors next year. And that way you have the chance to visit campus, a school that you might be interested in, you have a chance to visit for free. Again, these are amazing opportunities. They're free. Yes, he's a sophomore right now, so yes, it would be. But we have the list again, Annie, on the website. I do update it regularly. I think I started probably last month updating it, knowing that that's around the time when applications for fly-in programs open. So you want to check on that list maybe in March of next year, and applications. There will be some applications open then. So I think did a program. And my daughter did a program with WashU in 2022 and loved it. So
I'm so happy to hear. I'm sorry, I can't reply to the crowd for some reason. I can't reply to
okay.
everyone, but I'm so happy to hear that they participated and loved it. Yay.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it. I think hopefully students, please remember to if you're interested in WashU and Tufts, definitely apply. If you're interested in other schools, please check out our list. We'll be updating that regularly as the applications open. Again, these are amazing opportunities, and some deadlines are coming up quick. As I mentioned, Dartmouth on May 15th and WashU on May 31st, and Tufts. The deadline,
Deadline's July 22nd.
July 22nd. Okay, so so please make sure to apply. These are amazing opportunities. And so I just wanted to end now, just have a few slides left. Yeah. Let me just share my screen. Okay, you'll see my dog briefly for a second. Let's see if I can. Okay, so play from current slide. Yeah. Okay, so again, we've seen that flying programs are a great opportunity for students to explore college campuses, meet with college representatives, and experience, get a taste of college life for free. So please, students, if you're the audience, please take advantage of these as a valuable part of the college exploration process. Any counselors, please encourage your students who might be eligible to apply for these free programs. So as we end, I encourage you to stay engaged with us. Read our blogs for tips and tricks, follow us on social media, and come to our free events, such as the one you're attending right now. And speaking about free events, we have a few coming up. In a few weeks, we have Thursday, May 30th, we have a session for high school seniors and their parents to learn ways to manage the stressful transition to college. And on Thursday, June 13th, we have a workshop on the personal statement for those juniors starting their college applications and who want to get a head start on their essay during the summer. And the summer is a great time to do so. So please join us for those if you can. And then finally, before we end, I wanted to mention Matriculate. Matriculate is a national nonprofit that provides free virtual college advising to high-achieving low-income high school students. If accepted into the program, students are matched via email with a free near-peer college mentor who will work with them one-on-one through the end of the senior year. The application for the class of 2025 is now open, so current juniors, Shantae, if you could put a link in the chat, that would be great. So please check it out if you're eligible, and you can find more information on the website. Please apply. It's a great program. We collaborate with Matriculate. So finally, that's it. Thank you, Nikki and Justin, for joining us tonight, for sharing your expertise, your time with us, and really hope to encourage students to apply to these amazing opportunities. Thank you again, everyone. Please fill out the survey. As I said, your feedback and opinions are important to us. And that's it. So thank you again, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.